Have you ever got through a whole week and realized it's Friday night and you haven't done anything productive as a designer? Maybe you had too many meetings, or that maybe you switched too many parts of the project and couldn't get anything done. Whatever the cause was, I believe this video will help you manage your time better as a UI UX designer so that you can become better and do much more successful projects, whether that is the company you are working for or for your freelance projects. First step I have for you is to actually find your optimal creative time. What do I mean by this? Now, many people, when they actually began designing, if they come from the product management background, they are usually trying to manage their time. Meaning they look at their calendar and say, I have an 8-hour workday every day from Monday to Friday, so I will just put time blocks of where I will do my creative work and my meetings. That is not how it works as a designer. That works very well for salespeople and probably project managers, where your goal is to actually improve the efficiency of your pipeline while doing non-creative work, while not making things. However, as designers, we are makers. You only have so much energy to create during the day. Like for me, it's roughly 3 to 4 hours of good creative energy. After that, I actually start getting diminishing returns. And if you want to learn more about creative energy, make sure that you actually check out the article of a startup founder, Paul Graham, actually writing about makers versus managers schedule. I believe it will turn the light bulb on your head a lot. For you to actually then manage your creative time, what should you do? You have to find the best times in your day when you are creative. For me, that is the early morning. Make sure that you are aligning your whole schedule based on that. You are going to determine your schedule. You are going to time block those few hours in the morning or at night. Anything else, whether that is meetings with other people or stakeholders or your colleagues, should come before or after it. My next step is going to be batching instead of sequencing. What do I mean by this? What is sequencing? Sequencing is when, let's say, you have 3 features to design and then document for your project. What sequencing will do is you are gonna begin with the feature 1, design it, and then you are gonna move to the documentation part and then document the feature 1, and then you are gonna move to feature 2 and feature 3. You are doing the whole workflow from beginning to end 3 times. This is sequencing. You are following a sequence of tasks no matter how many times you have to repeat. Well, what is batching? Well, how the batching workflow works is, instead of going from design, documentation for each feature, you are going to design the first feature, the second and the third. Then once you are done with the design part, you are going to move to documentation and you are going to document the first one, second one and third one, and that is batching. Now that you understand both concepts, why would I advise you to do batching? Well, the reason is something we call context switch. Anytime you are changing your kind of thought process or your workflow to accommodate a new part of the design process, meaning design, documentation, low fidelity or high fidelity, you have to change your environment or change your thought process. Whether you were ideating ideas before, now maybe you need to synthesize. And those whole things, from mental switch to environment switch to tool switch, actually adds up friction in your productivity. It takes time to switch, which is why you don't want to be switching between each tasks. You want to batch them, finish one part of the process and then move to the next. And this will save you a lot of time. Now, my third tip for you is much more about people management, but it will save you time, which is get better feedback. To get better feedback for your design decisions will actually improve your productivity, because you will produce much more correct design solutions for the problems of the users, and that will actually get yes from stakeholders or your managers, so that you will actually save more time in the long run. Well, how do we then get great feedback? Well, I plan to do a whole video about this issue later, but for now I will give you sub 3 tips to get great feedback. The first is you want to get a feedback as early as possible, meaning if you're at the ideation process and you are sketching, maybe you want to whiteboard with your manager to get immediate feedback. If you are doing user research, you want to talk with the customer support or your stakeholders to make sure there is no conflict of interest. Each stage of the design process there will be deliverables, and you want to share those deliverables as fast as you can with the right key people so you can get feedback as fast as you can. The second tip to actually do better and get better design feedbacks is to actually get the design feedbacks on one-on-one. This actually seems counterintuitive because if you have 6 people that actually your design solutions have to get accepted from, why go from 1 to 2 to 3 to 4 instead of just having them all in one meet? Well, the moment you have 6 people meet with you at the same time, they are all going to hear each their opinions and they will be much more biased and they are going to talk between themselves. And the more public a meeting gets, the more usually people hide their actual opinions because they don't want to upset the whole, the environment. My advice for you is to identify different types of stakeholders, whether that is technical stakeholders, the business, and then the project, and get feedback from those key people separately one-on-one. The third thing that will help you to get better design feedback, I believe, is to make the feedback process interactive. What I mean by this is it is good to communicate your design ideas with the other stakeholders. It is much better to interact with, say, let's do an ideation on whiteboard, or you sit with them and we talk about the colors and typography together, and then we show different variations. This is because it is actually very hard to sometimes understand design decisions visually, so you want to make it as interactive as possible so everybody is on the same page for visual things, whether that is for whiteboarding or like doing low sketching together, and I found that this helps a lot. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching this video, and you haven't already and you want to learn more from me, from my videos, so that you can become a better UI UX designer, please feel free to subscribe below so you will get a notification when I actually upload new videos that will help make you a better UI UX designer. Hey guys, I have put 2 more videos at the end of this video that I believe will make you have a better career in UI UX design. Make sure you check them out, and if you have any questions, make sure that you drop a comment below.